Hey guys, Luigi here. In this video, I want to share with you a tip which has been given to me many years ago, and I think it's a wonderful tip to have the right mindset whenever you're approaching a new UI UX design project with a client. So this is essentially seeing yourself as a doctor, and I'm going to explain the analogy within our profession because you're going to notice that it's actually very close and accurate. And this is especially true in the initial phases of collaborating with a client, and it's really important also in the discovery calls that you're going to have when you're evaluating potentially partnering up with a client for the long run. So this is essentially, it boils down to the concept of you want to ask questions and understand what is their current problem and what is the goal that the company or the client has. Because at the very beginning, you essentially don't know anything about their background, their pain points, how the team is structured, do they already have a project in place, and if that project is solving the demands partially or completely. And so this is really important to understand. And from a mindset perspective, you want to ask a lot of questions. So in the first calls, most of the talking should be from the client because you're going to essentially be in the doctor's position, and as you go to the doctor, you know that they usually ask you for all sorts of different informations in order to understand what is the diagnosis and what is going to be the potential cure for your problem. So very similarly, you want to approach a UI UX design project or any branding and web design project. Really, the same principle applies in the same way. So it's really important to take the time to understand what the company culture is about, what is the current pain points that they're dealing with, because the more data you have, the more ammo you have to reverse engineer a problem or actually a solution based on the problem that you're facing. So this is actually something which is really important, and I can't stress how many times I see in designers that are trying to enforce their vision on a project simply because they think, for example, that the visual design isn't looking as good as it can potentially be, and especially when it comes to like brand identity and UI design, I see a lot of focus on the visuals, and I know as designers we always like to create projects which are eye candy, but the reality is that that is simply a byproduct of a goal. So for example, the goal in most cases is to look professional, is to look like a legit company. So having attention to details when it comes to the visual design side of things is going to be aligned with that goal, because if you have a poor design which looks like it's been done in the 90s, that is essentially going to communicate that a company isn't up to date, and that might or might not be a good thing. More often than not, of course, it's not. But again, it all comes down to understanding what is the goal and the requirements, because I can tell you in some fields, in some industries and niches, companies don't even need a fancy website. Sometimes they don't even need a website at all. I can tell you, I had several occasions in my career where I just was blatantly honest with a potential client and told them, I don't think you need to make the investment into UI UX or web design, because in your specific case, you're better off investing in some other areas of the business. So this is actually all comes down to this process of understanding as much as you can about the client, about the user, about the target market, and that is going to essentially help you reverse engineer the potential solution for them. Because again, it all comes down to understanding what is going to be the best solution for those users specifically. Sometimes even things, or actually more often than not, things like colors, things like typography, things like should I go with dark UI or light UI? And the way that, generally speaking, you're organizing the structure of the UX architecture is vastly dictated by the user. In some industries, dark UI is going to be the best solution for the problem. In other ones, you really want to go with light UI because the legibility factor is simply something that you cannot discredit, especially if you're working with more elderly audiences. So that is something that you have to consider. But for example, I'm thinking about crypto, dark UIs definitely have a place over there, and you want to evaluate also how the product is located in comparison to the competitors in the field. So one of the questions which I always like to ask is who are your top 3 competitors in your field? And how do you differentiate yourself from them? What is your USP, which is the unique selling proposition? And what makes you difference, or what they are doing better at the moment? So understanding things like this can help you create not only a UI UX strategy, but also a marketing strategy, which, by the way, that works synergically. I strongly believe that as UI UX designers, we cannot simply be focusing on the UI UX, but we also want to understand the business goals and the marketing strategy. And generally speaking, like you want to think yourself as an entrepreneur. So talking from entrepreneur to another entrepreneur, what can we do in order to elevate the company and bring it to the next level in a way which is strategic and utilizing UI UX and web design as a tool in order to get there. But it's not the end all be all. It's simply a tool to bridge the current position to the end position, which is of course the successful solution that you're going to create. So I hope this video was helpful and that it triggers some food for thoughts. And if you have any specific questions regarding this topic, feel free to leave it down in the comment section. And on my YouTube channel, I have over 900 videos on design, UI, UX, and web design, which are entirely free. So feel free to check them out, and I'll see you in the very next video.